Dear Taurus, there's a profound reason why you might find yourself distanced from someone you've built a strong connection with. This isn't abandonment, it's divine separation. God is guiding you toward a path of true stability that not everyone is meant to share with you. If you're feeling unsettled, or as if your grounded spirit is gently pulling away from someone you still care for, know that this is exactly why. In this video, we'll explore why God often pulls you away from those who no longer resonate with your steadfast energy. A broken relationship is not a sign of rejection. It's a form of protection for your peace. True security begins when you prioritize your own well-being. Stay with me until the end, and you may receive a personal message that resonates with your healing journey. You are here for a reason. Sometimes what appears to be a loss, a crumbling of what you've built, is actually an answer to a prayer you didn't even know you were making. As a loyal and devoted soul, you love fully, investing your heart and building a foundation of trust. When someone leaves or when God separates you from them, it's natural to question, what did I do wrong to disrupt this stability? But the truth is, you did nothing wrong. You are being saved from what no longer serves your long-term security and growth. Not everyone who enters your life is meant to stay and build with you. Some souls come to test your patience, to shake you free from the comfort zone that, while familiar, has been holding you back. Yes, it hurts, especially when your sense of security is rocked, but sometimes God uses that discomfort to protect your spirit. Without that separation, you, with your enduring nature, might never choose to leave. You would continue to stay, to mend, to try and hold things together, even while your heart's foundation crumbles. Think of the story of a farmer diligently tending a tree, not realizing it's no longer bearing fruit and is draining the soil. Letting it go, though painful, makes way for new, fertile growth. Taurus, you too may have walked away from a relationship with a heavy heart, feeling your stability shaken, yet your spirit has been touched by something sacred, a protective awakening you may not have recognized at the time. Many of you are currently experiencing someone distancing themselves from you. They stop investing. They become inconsistent, or they betray your trust, and you find yourself blaming yourself. Why the change? Didn't they value the security you offered? You're left spinning in a whirlwind of unanswered questions, your practical mind seeking logic. But here's the truth. This isn't rejection. It's God saying, enough. Enough of sleepless nights spent trying to repair a broken foundation. Enough of overextending your patience and losing your own peace to keep someone else content. Enough of trying to fix what heaven has already deemed finished. There's a tale of a man caught in a flood, clinging to a familiar log in the raging waters, terrified to let go. He didn't realize that just a few inches away lay solid, dry land. Sometimes, familiarity, your comfort zone, tricks us into believing we're safe, even when we're slowly being undermined. So Taurus, are you holding on to something that no longer nourishes your soul or contributes to your true well-being? Are you trying to maintain a connection with someone who no longer sees or appreciates your worth? Are you in a relationship that makes you question your self-worth and the security you inherently deserve? Be honest with yourself. True love doesn't drain your resources, emotional, mental, or physical. It doesn't require you to sacrifice your dignity or your need for genuine security just to remain in someone's life. God sees what you, in your loyalty, cannot. He witnesses your heartbreaking day by day and places His hand upon your life. Not to break you, but to separate you. He wants you to breathe, to remember that you deserve more, something truly enduring, and to return to yourself. Most importantly, God isn't separating you to punish you. He's doing it to protect you. He sees your inner light dimming and recognizes that you are sacrificing the best parts of your steadfast nature for someone who no longer deserves it. So he pulls you back, much like a master gardener prunes a beloved plant to save it from a disease it can't see. I understand, Taurus. The hardest part isn't losing someone. It's grappling with the why, especially when you've invested so much. You may feel abandoned, unworthy, as if someone took everything you built and left you empty. But what you don't realize is that in those moments of feeling forsaken, you are actually being hidden away to heal and rebuild on a stronger foundation. God always has a plan. He won't allow anything to remain beside you if it threatens the divine purpose He has instilled within you. Your innate desire for true, lasting peace and security. Let me ask you, are you holding on to something you should have released? Are you clinging to someone who no longer walks alongside you on your journey toward genuine fulfillment? Are you ready to believe that what is being taken from you today may be the very thing you will thank God for later? If a relationship makes you question your self-worth, that's not love, that's a lesson. And God never allows you to repeat a lesson you're already prepared to overcome. The strange part is that you may not yet see the real reason behind this separation, as something deeper and more sacred is being revealed, not through your eyes, but through your soul's innate wisdom. Sometimes, the hardest thing God does is prevent you from staying with the person you love most, the one you imagined a future with. And this isn't because you are unworthy, it's because He knows your heart, your very essence, will wither if you remain in an unstable or unappreciative environment. You might be sitting there, eyes vacant, staring into the void of your memories, questioning why God brought that person into your life if He knew they would disrupt your peace. This question, while simple, is a silent wound for many souls caught in the struggle between enduring love and heartbreak. It's not just a question, it's the cry of a soul, yearning for clarity in a situation that feels inexplicably unfair. If you are a Taurus, you have likely asked this question, perhaps through quiet tears or during long, restless nights. But let me reassure you, God doesn't send anyone into your life without purpose. Every soul that crosses your path serves as a mirror, reflecting who you are, what you're losing of your true self, and where you need to return to find your grounded center. Some come to awaken wounds buried deep within you from past experiences, perhaps related to security or trust. Others arrive to teach you how to let go and reclaim your self-worth. Some remind you that while love and commitment are important, you must never abandon your own need for respect and stability just to be loved in return. Behind every breakup lies a spiritual lesson in self-preservation. Some lose their youth and energy for a love that never truly reciprocates their dedication. Others spend years in a marriage filled with tears and sacrifice, trying to maintain a facade of stability. Some give their all, their unwavering loyalty, only to be left questioning, was I not enough? Was my commitment not valuable? No, Taurus, you lack nothing. You simply offered your most sacred self, your steadfast heart, to someone unprepared to receive or cherish it. When your heart shattered, you thought everything you built was over, but that was merely the beginning of a new chapter where peace is no longer something you beg for or try to force. It's something you actively choose and cultivate. If God wanted to separate you, why did He allow that person into your life in the first place? This question, while valid, holds a different truth on a deeper level. God brought them into your life to teach you how to love yourself, how to recognize your own value. He allowed you to experience pain so you could understand where your boundaries for security and respect lie. God doesn't want you to crumble. He wants you to awaken, much like a mother allows her child to fall while learning to walk, not to hurt them, but so they can learn balance and strength. In the same way, you need loss to learn appreciation for true stability. You need pain to grasp your worth. You need to let go to experience what it feels like to be held properly, securely. Pain doesn't negate love. It reveals the truth. There are loves so profound, so comfortable, that you believe they are destined to last. Perhaps they are destined, but not to remain in their current form. Some souls come to touch the deepest parts of you, and then they leave, teaching you that if love makes you doubt your own value or security, it's no longer love, it's a lesson. Healing doesn't start when the other person changes. It begins when you accept that you deserve peace and genuine appreciation. You don't need to wait for an apology or for them to return to fix things. You just need to believe that God never removes anything from your life without preparing something better, more stable, in its place. A woman once said, "I loved someone with my whole heart and thought he was the miracle God sent, the rock I could depend on. But he left without explanation. I thought my world had ended until I realized he was just the first rain of the season, cleansing my soul so something more eternal and truly grounded could bloom." When you let go, you can breathe again. Feel solid ground beneath your feet. You stop checking your messages obsessively. You cease overthinking every glance and every silence. You no longer force a smile to hide your pain because you're no longer battling for a love that isn't truly yours. You're on a journey back to the light and strength within you. You don't need to understand everything today. You just need to trust that God doesn't allow you to hurt without a purpose for healing. Your soul wasn't created to suffer endlessly or live in insecurity. It was made for peace, to shine, and to be loved fully and reliably. No more begging, no more pleading, no more trading your worth for crumbs of affection. When you release someone who no longer vibrates at your frequency of loyalty and respect, you begin to attract those who do. No more prolonged silences, no more doubt. You've seen your worth, and that changes everything. A 75-year-old woman once shared, "After 40 years of tears in my marriage, trying to hold on to a crumbling home, I left. Not because I stopped loving, but because I refused to sacrifice myself for someone else." She found peace as her first companion after a lifetime of waiting. And you, dear Taurus, can experience the same. As long as you believe you are worthy, as long as you choose to return to yourself and your own inner strength, you will find peace. So, what happens when you stop yearning for someone who no longer belongs in your life? You'll discover that peace doesn't reside in their return. It lies in the moment you take your own hand and say, "I forgive myself for staying too long in an unstable situation." When God wishes to separate you from someone, He doesn't send thunder. He sends a whisper to your heart, a persistent unease. The heartbreaking truth is that you've heard that whisper, felt that instability, but may have ignored it for too long, hoping things would solidify. God doesn't hurt you to destroy you. He does it to save your soul from a place where the light, your inner peace, has slowly faded. The question remains, how do you distinguish between being separated and simply walking away from something significant? The answer lies within you, and it's called intuition, that gut feeling you Tauruses possess. Do you remember the first time you sensed something was off, that the foundation wasn't as solid as it seemed, the first time the energy shifted? That was the whisper of God. Taurus, you are a zodiac sign deeply connected to the tangible world, to what feels real and secure. You don't just love with your heart, you love with commitment, patience, and a desire for enduring stability. Venus, your ruling planet, gives you the ability to appreciate true value, to sense what is genuine, and to understand what has lasting worth. But you've often used these gifts to patiently endure, to forgive, and to try and fix things, forgetting that your intuition also serves as a protective barrier for your well-being. How many times have you sensed something was wrong, felt that insecurity creeping in, but pressed on anyway, hoping for improvement? You knew you were being taken for granted, your loyalty unreciprocated, yet you stayed because the fear of disrupting the familiar outweighed the pain of continuing in an unstable situation. Dear Taurus, let me remind you, intuition is God's whisper. It's the spiritual undercurrent guiding you before the storm arrives, before the foundation completely cracks. You don't need concrete evidence or for that person to say goodbye to validate your feelings. If your soul is uneasy, if your sense of security is consistently undermined, that's your sign to move on. Take a moment to reflect. Have you often justified others' actions instead of listening to your own feelings of disquiet? Saying things like, maybe I'm asking for too much stability, or perhaps they love me but don't know how to show commitment. But dear Taurus, you're not overly demanding. You're receiving a warning from God about your well-being. God doesn't communicate through words. He speaks through emotions, through that deep sense of rightness or wrongness. He doesn't knock loudly. He gently taps on your soul, hoping you're awake enough to listen. Have you ever felt empty after a conversation that seemed fine on the surface? Have you cried without knowing why? Have you texted them only to feel your heart sink with a sense of unease? That's not random. That's God telling you, you no longer belong here. This is not secure. If you're thinking, but I love them, I don't want to let go of what we've built, remember this: God never pulls you away from true, supportive love. He only separates you from illusions, what you thought was love or stability, but was slowly eroding your spirit and self-worth. You don't need to live in doubt anymore. No more checking every message or analyzing every silence for signs of stability. If love makes you question your worth or constantly feel insecure, it's time to return to yourself. The moment you choose to trust your intuition, your gut feeling, is the moment you choose yourself again. That's what God whispers when you sit in silence. He's waiting for you to stop trying to force things so he can begin healing your heart and guiding you to solid ground. Do you remember the last time you trusted that inner voice? That feeling of, this isn't right? The last time you confidently walked away from something wrong, even when no one understood your need for genuine security? Perhaps it's been a while, but today you can choose again. Sit down, not to plead for someone's return, but to reconnect with your own strength. Write down this declaration: I choose myself and my peace. The moment you choose yourself, heaven can take over. You don't need to force strength. You just need to be honest enough to admit, I felt unsafe and unvalued for a long time, but I was afraid to leave the familiar. You hoped they would change, that they would build with you, but forgot to ask, What about me and my need for real security? Your intuition has never abandoned you. You just need to stop turning away from it. If you're seeking a sign today, this is it. This is God's whisper to you, through your own heart and the words you're hearing. If you're in a relationship that your intuition tells you to leave because it lacks true stability or respect, write down, "I choose myself." That's a vow, a commitment to your journey back to where God is waiting for you with something more solid. When a soul chooses to trust in God again, the universe opens doors you once thought were closed, revealing paths to genuine security. In the next part, you will witness a miracle when you're no longer the one begging for love or stability, but the one who walks with light and strength instead, allowing that inner foundation to attract the love that matches your frequency. You may have felt left behind or that your world was crumbling, but in truth, you are being called to begin anew with a higher purpose on a stronger foundation. You are not abandoned, you are chosen. You are not rejected. You are being lifted up. If you're brave enough to let go today, to release what is no longer truly serving you, you will discover that peace is real. It has always been waiting for you, just beyond the moment you choose yourself and your own well-being. To the Taurus soul, quietly listening until these final moments, you've done remarkably well. You are allowed to be happy. You are allowed to start anew without needing an apology. And you are allowed to be loved in a way that feels secure and respectful without compromising yourself. If any part of this message resonates with you, leave a heart or share a message. Your words may become the light guiding another Taurus on their journey to true peace.